Hi, welcome to another short video on drawing a portrait. This may look relatively difficult, but it's quite easy given the smooth surface of the face. I've used a smooth paper, in this case a Canson, as I find it very user-friendly with putting in detail and blending. The original photograph is 18 centimetres by 28 centimetres. So I've created an 18 by 28 centimetre grid with 2 centimetre squares in order to transfer the image outline to the paper surface. I've also attached the source photo and grid in the description. You can use any good quality graphite pencils. I usually use Staedtler Mars Lumographs, but today I'm experimenting with another brand. These are Mitsui-bishi Hi-unis. They're a little difficult to get, but they're a softer, denser graphite pencil, and I find them very easy to work with. Apart from the pencils, I will primarily be using a range of tools to blend and shade. Most importantly, small makeup brushes, a paper stump, and a natural chamois. The key to realism here is the smooth blending of the facial features. The paper stumps are being used to lightly draw several of the features after I've drawn the outline with the pencils. This is a 17-minute time-lapse of what was a 3.5-hour drawing, but it will give you an idea of how I progressed with the drawing. After the outline, the first thing I always do is the eyes. These are really the key to the drawing and fundamental to making it real. I've used a combination of a HB, B and a technical pencil when doing this. I've also lightly shaded areas with a HB and B pencil as a base for further layers. The fine grain in these pencils fills in the values of the paper surface more evenly than using the softer 4, 6 or 8B pencils, and is a great base for subsequent layers when you use these ones. If you use too soft grade a pencil on the paper, you risk a patchy and uneven blend going forwards. It is important when you're doing graphite drawing that you build up layers and you start smoothly with a light touch and you build up those layers up to the tone that you want. It is much easier to build up a lighter layer than it is to cut back and lighten a darker layer. You will see I'm also using a small sheet of paper under my hand so that I'm not rubbing against the drawing surface or the graphite I've already laid down. No matter how clean your hands are, there are residual oils in your skin, and if they get on the surface, the graphite won't blend smoothly, and you'll end up with darker patches or rings where your hand has been in contact with the drawing surface. The initial process here is really just outlining with a pencil and then using a paper stump to go over this to smooth dark edges so that they blend into the paper. For the eyelashes, I have used a B pencil, which has been very well sharpened. With the eyebrows, I've ensured that they are drawn to match the photo and the growth pattern of those eyebrows. Having already put down a base of lighter hairs, this will add substance and volume to the hair and create a more realistic look to the drawing. I'm now building up the structure and layers in the ear and have drawn the darker hairs on the head. What I've also been using, and I find quite useful for blending the overall face, is an offcut from a leather chamois. It has a smooth, non-abrasive texture and capably moves the graphite around the surface. You can also use tissue paper and will also get a good result from that. I just find the chamois much easier to use. Having said that, it does require cleaning from time to time, whereas with tissue paper, you can just throw it out. The lips are a little bit more challenging, and particularly the teeth, so we're going quite gently here in building up the shadows and contours and creases of the lips. As I've said, this portrait drawing may look difficult, but with little patience and a light approach, you will get a pretty good result. I have a variety of stumps that I use for this exercise. For the smaller details, we've used a much smaller stump, and for the bigger ones, a bigger stump. I've also added some side freckles that are almost imperceptible in the photograph that you see, but this again adds realism to the final portrait. And while they may be to some extent blended out, they will be a little noticeable in the final result. I am also using a pencil and electric eraser to add the highlights to the contours. you will see that the ear in the photo itself is partially cut off. What I'm proposing to do once we get near completion, the drawing, is to add that extra bit to the ear. I think I'm fairly happy with the result, and we're getting very close to the end. And thank you very, very much for watching.